We really enjoy watching the sunset together. An unspoken daily routine between us. We will always meet at the same place, sit on the same bench, watch the sunset together. Remember there was one time he took out a brown colour paper bag from his haversack, and inside there was actually 2 tau sa bao. He has bought them before our meetup, and baos were probably very cold and hard, but in my memory they were the best tasting baos ever. We were very shy. We couldn't express our feeling out loud to each other. Whenever I pass by Lower Pierce Reservoir, my heart tugs with a smile. Sometimes I wondered what might have been if we had the courage to confess our feelings.
Golden Mile is the fusion of the Thai culture and Singapore culture. And I think that there are three main nationalities there. You have the Thais, you have the Singaporeans, and you have the Malaysians.
黄金坊是一个泰国小泰国，它起源于20年前从那个泰国的和爱，主要是快车带动的。当时从泰国南部那个城市叫和爱到新加坡的总站，就是在这个现在的黄金坊。
What I can remember about Golden Mile is the scent, the smell of the first level, because you have many tourists and small restaurants, and it serves Thai food. So in Thai food you have a lot of pickled stuff and use a lot of fish sauce. So the smell is quite strong, but it can be pleasing if you're used to it.
泰国客工呢，他们就知道这个地方，到这里来坐车，然后就演变成今天的各种各样的，他们所需求的东西都在黄金坊里面落户了。
Everything is very 80s. The way they drink, the way they relax. You have the Thai nationals like sitting outside the eateries and they're drinking and relaxing themselves. You just have very 80s vibe. Because I have good memories of that place, I decided to call in and just share with you my thoughts and memories about that place.
如果我赋予你生命，你会不会将我砍倒？如果我被污染的话，你会不会？
Mr. Chen, the barber, has been there for I think more than 40 years, and I got to know him through my granddad about 20 years ago when I was really small, and back then we were staying at Aliwal Street. His outdoor barber is located in a small alley between two really old shop houses. The setup of the barber shop, right, has never changed ever since. Even the pricing remained unchanged, like $5 per head. Although we are now staying in Boon Lay, right, my granddad still insists on taking a 2 hours bus ride just to go there to have his hair cut every month. And he's not the only one, there are folks all over the island, likewise, going there and doing their haircuts from all over, like Tampines, Sengkang, etc. To them, it's not only about hair cutting, it's more of getting connected with old neighbors. My granddad is 70 years old now, and he doesn't allow anyone else to cut his hair except for Mr. Chen. சின்ன வயசில் அம்மா என்னை கூட்டிகிட்டு போவாங்க அந்த அரைக்கிற மிஷின் இடத்துக்கு. அங்கே அம்மா அவங்க கொண்டு வந்த சாமான்லாம் அவங்க விட்டு கொடுப்பாங்க. அவங்களாம் அதெல்லாம் வாங்கிட்டு அவங்க என்ன செய்வாங்கன்னா வெய் பண்ணுறாங்க. எவ்வளோன்னு சொல்லிட்டு விலையை சொல்லுவாங்க அம்மாட்ட. அம்மா கொஞ்ச நேரம் காத்திருப்பாங்க. ஏன்னா அவங்க சொல்லுவாங்க கொஞ்ச நேரம் காத்திருங்க, நம்ம இதை பிரித்து கொடுப்போன்னு. இன்னும் அம்மா அங்கே இருப்பாங்க. அவங்க அரைச்சி அம்மா அதை வாங்கிட்டு வீட்டுக்கு வந்துடுவாங்க. அங்கே அம்மா விரும்பி போவாங்க. ஏன்னா அந்த கடையிலேருந்து அம்மா என்னென்ன சாமான் அவங்களுக்கு அரைக்க விருப்பப்பட்டாங்களோ அது மாதிரி தக்கபடி அவங்க அரைச்சி கொடுத்துருவாங்க. அது மட்டும் இல்லை, அங்கே அந்த கடையிலேருந்து நல்லா அரைச்சி கொடுப்பாங்க. இந்த சாமானுங்க அரைச்சி கொடுத்ததுனால அம்மாவுக்கும் மன திருப்தியாக இருக்குது. இந்த கடை சிங்கப்பூர்லேருந்து நிறைய அரைக்கிற மில் இல்லை. அதனால இது ஃப்ரைங் ரோட்டில் இருக்கிறதுனால சுலபமாக இருக்குது. அம்மாவுக்கு அங்கே போய் சாமான்லாம் போய் அரைக்கிறது, அந்த கடை வந்து பழைய கடை நல்லா வந்து சேர்ந்து கொடுக்குறாங்க, நல்லா சிறப்பாக வந்து அவங்களுடைய சேவையும் சேர்ந்து கொடுக்குறாங்க. அதனால அம்மா அங்கே போயிட்டு அவங்க அரைக்கிற வேலையெல்லாம் அங்கே கவனிச்சுட்டு கொண்டுட்டு வராங்க.
What I remember about Lung Fat were the neon lights and also the address 639, which is so easy to remember. I also wondered why they had numerous signboards for a shop. They had this the red neon lights, another one which I believe is quite old with Chinese characters. There's a big one hanging outside the shop, a newer one also being added. Tau Sa-Piah has always been one of my comfort foods. Ones from Lung Fat are fresh, they are warm, crispy and buttery, and the filling is also wet with the right degree of sweetness for my taste. The shape of the Tau Sa-Piah is also unique. It's flat and wide, unlike the rounder ones which are more common. And I usually get them as gifts for friends visiting from overseas or when I visit them. With nostalgia setting in as I grow older, the green and white tiles, chairs, old-style folding doors, neon lights, marble-top tables with thin legs, they all take on a very different meaning. I actually strongly believe that future generations shouldn't be disadvantaged by having to learn their culture solely by visiting museums, browsing photos, films, and reading books.
流切水，好像都没有什么吸烟，去全像我们以前这样子。流切水一带啊，很多这个老人家住的，好像老人家可以来开心啊，很近，搭那个巴士比较方便。有时哎呀没有地方去啊，拿几块钱来看看啦，去领去啊，因为我们的资源这边很便宜嘛，老人家是5块嘛。别的地方的不一样，它超过5点啊都没有这个 half price 啊，这样。有人是也讲笑话讲哎呀，这是老人院的什么什么，讲我们嘛听了没有什么的嘛，是不是？好像老人家说，哎，为什么这么没人带？为什么什么？黄色你随便做，这样不满做。有时老人家脾气比较不好这样啦。比我老很多，也是有我自己老，我都知道老的问题啦。
Woodland Cinema is a romantic place as it was the place we dated 3 times a week.
Honestly, I think my husband was just too lazy to go down to town.
Usually they show all kinds of films, Chinese films, Hollywood films and Bollywood films.
On our first anniversary, he brought me to watch a Bollywood film.
I wanted it to be a special experience. No lah, actually I was late and I couldn't get tickets to a Jackie Chan film. I think Woodland Cinema closed in the 90s due to various reasons, particularly the decline of attendance as well as videotapes.
But you know, it's where our love first blossomed.
My wife and I have been married for 8 years, and we have a 7-year-old daughter. And she's really the love of our lives. She brings us so much joy, when we are with her. And I decided to call in to share this story so that, when she grows up, she can listen and know that romance is just not in the movies, but, it happens in real life as well.
Capital 戏院大约是在1940年开始，各戏院全部放的是英文片， 我要看的戏是《Ten Commandments》英语片，所以我就是要去那个Capital 戏院看。我们在那边看南戏的，就在附近的购物中心走走，买东西啦，看看。那时候我真的很幸运，在那边的一间算作是高级百货公司，我去买一件衬衫送给我的男朋友，就是现在我的老公嘛。我很幸运抽到一张飞机票，飞去泰国曼谷，首奖的来回机票。Capital 戏院就在1998年结束了，可是这间戏院对我来讲，我会跟我孩子讲，这间戏院我永远会记住它，因为它就是我最幸运的 lucky 的地方。
我哋係光輝粵劇團做廣東大戲啊！我個團差唔多有20幾年，咁啊而家成團人大約30零人啦。而家講職業嚟講啊，新加坡廣東大戲係得我哋光輝一個團。細個嗰陣時中意睇大戲咯，咁樣啊同啲後生啊同啲朋友啊一齊去睇下，咁睇下又覺得好有興趣，又去學咯。去學啦，跟住又去做咯，做咗啲咩機緣嘅巧合咁樣就啱啱一個光輝粵劇團要接班人啊，咁樣啊又試下睇下得唔得啦，咁啊結果無心插柳就去做成咗咁啦，到而家啦。呢個戲台咧，雖然你哋外人睇到係一個戲台，但係我覺得呢個戲台咧包括咗好多嘢，好多傳統嘅嘢，同埋好多我哋成團人嘅團結嘅精神，同埋我哋一路過去嘅歷史，我哋一路過去做戲嘅經歷，好多嘢包含喺入邊，同埋我哋兄弟姊妹嘅團結，大家都希望保留到呢個傳統嘅戲劇。
天福宫对我非常的特别，因为我在小时候呢是在爱童小学上课的，刚好对面呢就是天福宫。其实有2样东西呢让我是最难忘的。每一次放学或是有课外活动的话呢，我和同学们都会跑到天福宫去。那我们在那里呢就是玩捉迷藏。还有另外一件让我比较难忘的就是天福宫呢是我表演的第一个舞台。我比较怀念的是当时还没有装修的天福宫，因为我觉得它非常的古朴。虽然里面的有时它的灯光会比较暗，灯光不足，但是一进到天福宫呢，就可以让我找回童年的那种感觉。在天福宫做男音表演的时候呢，在以前虽然是很简单的，只有那几盏灯，但是我觉得非常的朴素。其实男音在古庙表演，它真的是有另外一种韵味。每一年我们要到天福宫去表演的时候呢，就好像是2月19啊，6月19，或者是9月19。那每一次去表演的当天呢，通常在早上都会下大雨，不然呢就是在晚上。可是就非常奇怪的就是说，要在上场表演的时间呢，它的雨自然就会停掉了。其实我觉得这个是蛮特别的吧。我在想，应该是观音娘娘在保佑我们。
You see, originally here there was 5 or 6 kampung before. They are the earlier kampung like Kampung Lubambum, Kampung Melayu, Kampung Waasan, Kampung Tiongmino. They are all earlier kampung, much earlier than this. But somewhere in early 1960s, the government going to open another more new kampung for the Malays that were around this area. It was rubber plantation all here before, nearby here. Then in 1960, they start to chop off all the rubber trees and then build a new kampung. They call it a Kampung Melayu. At that time, there's no masjid like this. What they have all the surau. Surau is something that's smaller than the masjid, smaller than the mosque. So the government allow us to build one masjid or one mosque in English. So this where they decide to make the mosque or masjid in these areas. But at that time, we don't have this mosque building fund. You see, so any mosque to be built is to come up from your own pocket money. So we do house-to-house collections. I was 10 years old at that time, so it's about 50 years ago. So they all go house-to-house collect 50 cents each to wait until we got enough fund to build this mosque. This is something that sentimental value for the village, the people who stay here before. Each time, every Friday, the Hari Raya, all the old boys come back again here. You see, we meet each others, talk all stories, and these are sentimental values. First, for all those who are staying in these areas. Second thing, there's only left kampung mosque in Singapore.
I grew up in a Senate Estate area, and in the 70s, as a kid, we weren't distracted by the Nintendos of this world, the internet, and what happened was, at little at a time, and what we had was actually our environment. And we spent, in fact, a lot of our time looking for something exciting, and we found it in the drains. This particular place in Cedar, behind Cedar Secondary, and it became a favorite haunt for us to actually hang out and to catch the fishes. And present day, I have brought my son there, and he was only 3 when I brought him there. And while fishing, I told him that some 35 years ago, when Daddy was a kid, I enjoyed my time growing up in this place and how we actually caught the fishes, and he was new to the whole thing. The entire environment has not really changed. The tiles are still there, the water still flows continuously. The whole experience, every time I bring my kids back, it brings me back into the remembrance of the friends that I used to have. When we actually do meet up, they will say, hey, those were the Cedar days whereby we should do longkang fishing.
Kampung ni sangatlah betul special untuk buat kita yang tinggal di sini sebab kita rasa bangga di Singapura ni tidak ada kampung lagi di sini, dan banyak yang orang penduduk Singapura dia tak tahu sampai sekarang ni, dia tak tahu yang kita ada Singapura, kita ada kampung. Banyak yang suka tinggal ke kampung ni sebab orang-orang kampung ni macam dia suka bergotong royong, dia ambil tahu antara sama lain. Bentar lagi kita tinggal dari kecil yang besar, macam kita punya tahu ke tanah tu kan, kawan-kawan kecil-kecil, dia memang amat prihatin dan dia suka macam ambil tahulah, macam bukanlah kepo tapi tanya kau dah makan apa semua. Jadi kita rasa macam ada orang jaga. And then kita selalu ambil tahu dengan jiran ujung, jiran belah kiri kanan kan, dia buat apa-apa. Kalau tak jumpa macam mana Jamil, kau buat apa gini, macam kita rasa macam kita walaupun kita tak ada mak bapak, tapi kita rasa macam kita semua macam saudara, macam adik-beradik. Bukan nak kata orang flat tak bagus, tapi kat sini tu macam very good lah, orang macam suka. Jadi orang luar nampak kita datang dan dia pun heran yang macam kenapa masih ada kampung lagi, masih orang lagi suka duduk kampung. Dalam bentar lagi kalau macam kita dengan kampung ni, kita ada laman, kita boleh bercocok tanam, walaupun pokok apa pun apa tu, kita rasa macam segar, dia menyegarkan hidup kita. Dan oleh kerana kita di kampung ni semua ikhlas, habis bekerjasama, macam adik-beradik dan kita macam very friendly to each other lah kan itu membuatkan kita kekal di kampung sini dan itu memang lagi pandangan orang luar tu kita punya image tu masih ada berkampung. Kita berkampung, kita bersama, itu yang mengekalkan kita masih ada lagi dan saya harap pun janganlah ada kuasa-kuasa lain yang macam dapat mengusir kita dari sini sebab inilah salah satunya hazanah yang kita boleh banggakan Singapura masih ada kampung lagi dan orang lain tidak ada.
这个陶光是创于1965年，也就是和我们的国家一起度过了这45个年头。我们现在这个龙窑在这里大概也有70多年的历史了。那么我们这条龙窑主要以前都是拿来生产一些日常用品的，比如花盆啦、花瓶啦，还有那个水缸啦之类的产品。 所以这条龙窑现在在这里，就是让一些喜爱烧这个龙窑的这些陶瓷工作者，他们利用这条龙窑来烧制一些不同效果的陶艺作品了。所以现在目前我们大概只有1年就烧1次至2次这样的。龙窑它的形状就像一条这个 龙的那个形状，那么烧火的时候呢，往望院子呢，就好像一条龙在吐火，所以也就称为龙窑。我想我们新加坡一直发展到现在，国家的现在都非常的昌盛繁荣，那么在这些乡村方面也慢慢的逝去了，所以现在 我们这里可以说是新加坡比较仅存的一些乡村地方了，所以我们希望就是说，我们这条龙窑呢，一方面有它的历史和文化的价值，那么